Hi, my name is Clementina Ugo and you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video, I'll be showing you how I created this butterfly kaftan bubu dress. So if this is what you're interested in, please watch the video to the end, and without wasting much of our time, let's get started. So I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into two. So yeah, the first thing I want to do now is to rule a starting point for me to work with. So from that starting point, I'll come to my bust point, which is 10 inches. So afterwards, I'll come down to 15 inches for my half length, and then I'll be using 25 inches for the hip length. And the full length of this dress, sorry, is not very clear. I'm so sorry, you can see that other part. I'll be using 55 inches altogether for the full length of this dress. So right now, I'll just go ahead now to make all my marks visible for my point to point measurement. So this is for the hip line, and the other part was not, showing when I was recording, and I'm so sorry about that. So from the folded part, I'm coming out by 3.5 inches for the neck width, and I came down by 2.7 inches for the neck depth of my dress. So this is like a round neck, but I wanted it to be a bit wider than the usual 3 inches. For the sleeve, this is like a cut and join sleeve, so I'll be using the remaining part after the neckline as the sleeve of the dress. So after measurement, I think I have like 19 inches left from that neckline to the end of the fabric. So what I'm going to do now is to, you know um come down from the end by 1 inch to for my shoulder slope. So you see what I'm doing. So I'm trying to connect it from that sloped area back to the neckline. Yeah, so that is our shoulder slope. Go ahead and take all my body measurements. you know so my bust point was 32 inches. The bust point I'm using for this dress here is 32 inches. So after dividing 32 inches into 4, what I had was 8 inches. So going ahead to chalk down my 8 inches, then I went ahead to add 5 inches extra for allowance for ease. You can go ahead. So I'll be doing that for the half length, the hip line, and for the bottom part of my dress. But the bottom part of my dress, I'm going ahead to take away 1 inch after calculating all the measurements. So yeah, so you can go ahead and to add maybe 6 inches, depending on how free you want your dress to be. I didn't want it to be too tight, but I think 5 inches is okay for the dress, for extra allowance after adding all your body measurements. I think 5 inches will just work very fine. you know so I'm going ahead now to do same. So this is for the hip line. Going ahead to add extra 5 inches for the hip line of my dress. So like I said, the bottom part of my dress, calculate the just take out 1 inch from the hip line. And yeah, basically just take out one. If your hip line is 9 inches, after dividing it into 4, just mark 8 inches on that area. So that will work very fine. So for the sleeve, the round sleeve, I'm going to come down from the bust point by 2 inches. My bust point from the shoulder to bust is 10 inches. So, and I wanted the sleeve to be 12 inches round. So what I did was just to come down from that bust point area by extra 2 inches. So I'm going to mark how wide I want my sleeve to be as 12 inches. So I'm just going ahead now to connect my sleeve down all the way to the body of the dress. So initially I wanted my sleeve to be like a belt sleeve, so trying to have a wider opening, but I later changed it while I was making the dress. So what I'm doing right now is to just freely connect the sleeve to the body of the dress. So I'm going ahead now to you know make my markings more bold, just using my measurement rule to create a finer hip line. And I did that all the way to the bottom part of the dress. So basically just connect all your body measurements, and yeah, so that is it for the body of the dress. So you see how I've marked it. So yeah, so I'm just going ahead now to cut out the shoulder area and the neckline and the neck area of our dress. So basically these are the only areas you'll be cutting out. Yeah, so this is the front part of our dress. So the next thing we are going to do now is to cut out the back. So right now what we are going to do is fold another fabric into two and place the front part of the fabric on top of the folded fabric. So make sure the neckline area is on the folded part. Like I said, fold the fabric into two. So you can go ahead to hold your fabric together with your pins and go ahead to cut out the shoulder area. Please take note, you're cutting out only the shoulder area. Make sure your fabric is held down firmly with your pins. So just go ahead to cut out the shoulder area and the neckline area. Just follow the same line, same way you cut out in the previous one. So for the design on the bust area, I'll be using this black lace for the design on the bust area. So what I'm trying to do is to mark out how long I want it to be on the side. So I think I just marked out 6 inches from both sides. So I'll just go ahead now to cut it out. So this is going to serve as a facing for the neckline area, and is also like going to serve as you know like embellishment for the bust area of our dress. So what I did was just to cut out the shape of the neckline just like the way it is. So when you place it on top, you just go ahead now to follow the neckline and just cut it out. So for the shape of your design, you can just give it whatever shape you like, but for me I wanted it to have a love shape. So from the ends of that 6 inches, you know I just decided to give it a very fine love shape, and just like you see me do, I'm marking it all the way down to to the end of the lace. So it depending on how long you want it to be. So for me, I think I wanted it to just be before the just after, a little bit after the bust line. So that is how long I wanted it to be. So I'm just going ahead now to give it a very fine love shape, but you can go ahead to give it whatever shape you want. So yeah, this is me just trying to give it the shape that I needed. So yeah, so this is for the front part of the dress, and give yours whatever shape you want. So after cutting out, I'll be going ahead to use this as our facing to stitch our neckline, and afterwards I'll show you how it's looking. So yeah, so I'm trying to cut out for the back facing. So for the back, the shape I'm giving here is quite different from the front. So instead of the V shape or the love shape or the V shape here I'm giving it, I'm just going to cut out a squared shape here. you know just see how I'm doing it. Place your net on top of your fabric, then just follow the line. Like I said, I'm just going to give it a squared shape. Yeah, so I'm cutting it out like this, and we'll be using this for the back facing of our neckline and for our back part of the dress. So yeah, so this is just how it's looking. So when I measured the back and the front, they are both equal from the sides. Yeah, so after I went ahead to stitch it, this is how it's looking. So this is the front, this is how the front part is looking. I went ahead to use it as a facing, and I turned it, and also made neat stitchings to the body of the dress. So right now what we are going to do is to just join the shoulder areas, hold them like this, right sides facing each other, place them on each other, right sides facing each other, and just hold them down. I'll go ahead now to stitch down the shoulder area of our dress. So after stitching it down on the shoulder areas, this is how it is looking. I went ahead to also give it a very good press. Yeah, so this is how it is looking. So now it's time to stitch down the body part and the sleeve areas of our dress. So as you can see, I told you I wanted initially, I wanted the sleeve to be quite different from what I have right now. So what I did was to just change the to change the pattern of the sleeve. So from the shoulder to 10 inches area. So you see what I'm trying to do to give it a very finer shape. So instead of the usual bell shape I wanted at the front part of the sleeve, I just gave it a very straight line, gave it a very finer shape of on the sleeve area. So you see what I'm doing. So create your marks to be more visible like this, because we are going to be stitching on the body of the dress. You're not going to turn it to any left side of your fabric, so you're going to be stitching on the lines that you have created on the front part of your dress, on the right side of your dress. Please take note, that is how the butterfly dress is made. You're not turning it over to any left side. So right now, what we are going to do, I'm going to stitch on the hem line of our dress. Before you're stitching on the body, I'm going to make stitches on the body and on the hem line. I'll just go ahead and do that and show you how it's looking. So yeah, so this is the end result of the dress. This is how it's looking. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you're here to subscribe to my channel, please do where to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.